Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Stop being a passenger in life. Stop waiting in traffic like everyone else. Take your ego to the next level and travel across town at hundreds of miles an hour. The San Andreas Flight School. Become a licensed pilot in as little as 3 hours. Take out your friends and family in spectacular fashion by getting certified. Don't believe what you hear. Flying is easy. It's mostly autopilot anyway. Click a few buttons, set the destination, and hanging back with the ladies. Imagine how hot she'll get when you tell her you can leave for a tropical paradise at a moment's notice on a plane. Always wanted to get into the exciting international courier business? You need to fly. Tired of dealing with the horrible airlines and their graying pilots? Get your pilot's license. A turbulence-free future is yours. The San Andreas Flight School.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Third Shift. It's episode 429. It's the episode after Thanksgiving. What a blessed time it was. And of course, before we talk about Thanksgiving or video games or anything else, I've got to tell you, there's this other guy here. His name is Mr. Matt. He is the man, the myth, the legend, the eater of all the leftovers, the inglorious bastard himself. It's Mr. Matt. He's here today. And of course, before any video game stuff happens, or a little bit here and there, you know what I'm talking about. We got to talk to Matt. How's the week been, Matt? What did you do? How was Thanksgiving? Etc., etc.
It was a wonderful week because it's Thanksgiving week. It's my favorite week of the year. My favorite holiday, because I'm not a big holidays guy. Thanksgiving is always wonderful. Went to Mom's house, had all the foods. They're always delicious. They were delicious again. And I just had the last of some of the casserole, had the last of the stuffing. There's still a little bit of turkey left over for some sandwiches. Wonderful. I scooped it up and I was like, oh, I'm excited to eat this because it's delicious, but I'm sad because the era of good times is over. But I will say Thanksgiving Day, it was awesome. We do the same routine all the time. It's not like, I don't want to say like it's not special, but it's the routine. But I feel like for some reason this year, I was just like, man, I was in a good mood. I was thankful. I was grateful. I was like, wow, this is, we don't do a lot. We have our food around noontime and it's always great. And we watch the football games and we just hang out. And it was just great. It was just a really nice day. And I was like, not like there's a magic of Thanksgiving, but I was kind of caught up in it this year. I was like, man, I am grateful. I'm grateful for you, grateful for this, grateful for the stuff I have. Wow. Awesome. But it was great. I went to work the next day and that wasn't that great, but it was a good weekend. I'll get to the video game stuff in a second because just yesterday as we record this early, Giving Tuesday was yesterday. Went out to Williamston Theater. They have a play-a-thon they do every year. I think over the past couple of years, they've narrowed it down to 3 plays instead of 6. I was able to make it to 2 of them because I had a show later on that I'll get to. And it's just fun. It's just a good time. One of my favorite theaters, the small theater. You go in and the actors and like the theater owners who are actors themselves just read a full-on professional play with actual actors who get paid to act. And it's just fun. It's casual. It's cool. You sit there with whoever can make it in at the time, and you see 2 plays you've either never heard of or you have heard of or whatever. I had a blast. And then, between them, go to lunch there in the small town, have a great time. And I did have a great time. It was really good. Then that night, went to see Anna Gasteyer at the Wharton Center. Anna Gasteyer, famous from being in Saturday Night Live in the 90s and 2000s when we were around. And did you know she's actually a really good singer? I had no idea. I feel like I remember her singing on Saturday Night Live, but it was in the midst of a skit, so it was just, haha, it's a funny thing. But I have a bunch to say about the show. But one of the things, speaking of did you know she can sing, she's got like banter with her musical director guy who's on stage who plays some percussion stuff. And he says he was telling people he was going on tour with Anna Gasteyer, and they went, wait, she sings? And he said, yeah, I told him she's a great singer. She's got a voice like a trumpet. She burns a hole in the roof. I've never heard those 2 phrases before in my life, but I love them. A voice like a trumpet, and she can burn a hole in the roof. I was like, that's the greatest. And I laughed. And then she does. Like, she's really, really good. She apparently was on Broadway as Elphaba in Wicked, so she's got the chops. And it was mostly a jazzy, Christmassy, small jazz band type of concert, but she did let loose on a couple songs, and man, She can burn a hole in the roof. Like, wow, awesome. And then the second thing to say about this is, in between some of her songs, she'd tell some fun stories and joke around with the audience. She did songs off of this Christmas album she did a couple years ago. And she said, I heard one of these songs on the radio, one of my songs. And I'm like, wow, cool. One of the first times she's ever had that happen. She goes, so the next thing I want to do, I want to be in a commercial. And I want to be like in a pharmaceutical commercial. I want to hear my song in one of those. And I have to pause here and take you to an inside joke that I do with Mom all the time. I don't watch a lot of TV, but anybody knows if you watch TV, it's all pharmaceutical commercials. And they always go the same way. Like, oh man, if you've got moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, try taking Schnabitz Fernenbaum. And then like the guy will open up a door and then he's like walking through a magical wonderland, or he's like at the beach, or he's this, or he's that. And every time one of those comes on, I'm at Mom's house. I go, man, I wish I had moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. And she goes, what are you talking about? And I go, look, I could go on a cruise through the Mediterranean. I could play Frisbee with a dog. I could go dancing down the street. And we go, that's dumb. You're stupid. So Anna Gasteyer says, I want to be in a pharmaceutical commercial because, in all those, it's just a wonderful time. You go to a farmer's market with your friends and you gallivant and you do a little dance down the street and all the apples are perfect. And you never buy too much stuff at the farmer's market, weigh down your bag and feel bad about doing it because everything's wonderful. I was just cracking up, dying laughing. Mom is like slapping my arm, laughing, her tears running down her faces. Great. But the rest of the show was awesome. She's a great singer. The band was great too. An awesome time. Laughing and smiling and having a good time. What do I always say? I'm a miserable guy. I don't do a lot of that stuff. I did it last night. It was wonderful. Just driving home with that Thanksgiving feeling like, man, I'm so glad I went to that show. I'm so glad I had a great day today. Woohoo! Carry over to the video game front. East 10 Nordics. That game is just a delight. It's bright, it's colorful, it's fun. I love every single character. And it answers the question that you asked me, Eric, before about Metaphor Refantasio. You went, why do you dislike these characters so much when all the Persona characters are goofs too? And I said, maybe it's because they're high schoolers, so it kind of, when a high schooler acts dumb, it is how it is. Well, all the side characters in East 10 are like teenager-ish militia members and people who run the shops in this town. And like something really dumb happened. And I went, oh, that's okay. They're just kids. So I proved it. It was right there. There was one of those moments where I was like, that's really stupid. But that's okay. So we figured it out. We solved the problem. But I'm still loving that. It's great. I'll say the only thing is it's really easy. It's like when I was playing Final Fantasy 16. So easy. But it's on normal. So I don't know. I'm still having fun. Other thing I had fun with, got in a stream of Locomotive, that point-and-click LucasArts style adventure game. God, that was so good. It was so much fun. It was bright. It was colorful. It was silly. I was laughing. I was having a great time. I got to the second character. If you missed the stream, go back and watch the end when it switches to the second character because something happens that just made me laugh the most I've ever laughed on stream. It was a great joke and just a wacky scenario this guy was in. Wonderful time. And then I think because I've been having so many great times, because I can't explain it any other way. I was sitting down here. It was the day of the stream, I think. I, exported the stream, did all the stuff, put it on my YouTube channel, all this stuff. Anyway, you know what? I guess I'm going to play too dark and like depressing and like miserable sort of games. So I started playing Mouthwashing. And I played it front to back all the way through. And I flippin' loved it. It was so good. And I will say there's two things, and I'm not a dumb guy, but two things I missed out on. One, I didn't catch the implication of one thing that had happened. But another one, I played it through and I loved it. And I went, man, this is so cool and great. And I listened to a different podcast later where they were talking about their games of the year. They were talking about the scene in Mouthwashing and like you go and see, and the game doesn't let you see that something has happened to a character in a zone. I didn't get that bit because I didn't go in that room because I knew there was nothing in that room that I needed. I needed to go get the other thing. So I left the room I was in and boop, beelined and not like just mainlined it, but I knew where I had to go. So that's where I went. So I missed out on this thing that was like so cool. And I went back and watched it on somebody's playthrough and I went, that would have been like the greatest thing ever to be like, whoa, what's happening here? And then you find out what had happened there. So I missed out on that reveal, but I got it later just because you do see what happened. But to get the mind screwery in that moment would have been really cool. And then after that, I started playing Slay the Princess, the pristine cut. Eric and I had talked about it a few days back, maybe a week ago. I've always heard good stuff about it. I've always heard you should go in blind, not know anything about it. I'm not going to say anything about it. I will say I thought I knew how it was going to go, because it's after the first thing you do, you feel like you understand how it's going to go. And then it took a hard left. And even though some things were dark and brutal, it was still delightful to see the things that can happen, is all I'll say. The last thing I did was the razor. That's all I'll say. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. If you know, you know. I went, what a perfect way to go out on the last thing that I did before I got an ending. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. There's still a lot I can go back and do. I'm excited to do that at some point. Just whenever I've got like a couple free hours, I'll go and do some more stuff in that. But that was great too. Wonderful. 2 wonderful experiences. Every game I played this week was wonderful. Thanksgiving was wonderful. All the shows I went to were wonderful. A great week. What about you, dude?
Well, first off, I want to say I still do intend to play Slay the Princess. Can't wait to get to that one of these dang days, hopefully sooner than later. Now, I went down to my family's house in Ohio. So we got out of work, took off, went down there. Got there pretty late 9, chilled out, did whatever. And it was fun. We had a good time with the family over the weekend. Thanksgiving, I deep fried a turkey. I had bought a honey baked ham from up here and brought that down with us. So we had a honey baked ham. We had a deep fried turkey. We had all the accoutrements, the taters, the deviled eggs, you name it. We had it. Everybody ate. Everybody had all they could eat. And then there was still a bajillion and tons more food left over. And we watched the Detroit Lions win a game that day. So it was all good. And like you said, it was just chill, serene. It was easy peasy. Because you know what? The best part about a deep fried turkey is all I got to do is stand there. I just got to stand there and make sure that the oil stays at the same temperature. If it goes a little over, just do the heat a little bit. If it goes under, I increase the heat a little bit. That's all you do. That's it. And you stand there for an hour and 10 minutes, and then you take it out and you go eat it. And ta-da! So very easy for me this year. So definitely a nice thing to have once in a while. I like to do it up different every other year. But anywho's, so yeah, on the Thanksgiving front, we had fun with the family. Now we stayed there for like 4.5, 5 days, whatever it was. So we also went to Kings Island for the Winter Wonderlands, which starts the day after Thanksgiving. So we went there Friday night. It was jam-packed, lots of people in there. They have like some of the rides open, only the Mystic Timbers roller coasters open. But just like last year, it was freezing cold. So there was no way in hell we're getting on no rides just because you'd kill yourself doing that. And then secondly, it was cold. Cold. So that part sucked. We're walking around, we're trying to enjoy the lights, but it's real cold. The kids and and even the adults want hot chocolates over and over again. So we're basically going, ooh, that's pretty. Now get in line to get your refill on a hot chocolate. Oh, that's pretty. I got to go pee. Oh, that's pretty. Get in the line to get hot chocolate. Oh, that's pretty. So we did like this staggered just march through the park. And then they have this huge, beautiful, awesome parade. But we got there a little too early. So we were about 2 hours in this cold walking around. And we still had about 55 minutes to go for the parade. And we were already all the way through the park. And we're cold. And we've already had like 3 gallons worth of hot chocolate at this point. And we went, I don't think we got it in us. We need it. We're going to have to just bail on the parade this year. So we didn't see the parade, but we did decide next year we're just going to go like a half hour before the parade and just watch the parade. Because the parade is the big event. The parade's really good. And it's like the lights are beautiful and gorgeous too, but I'd rather see the parade than walk around and see some of the lights. And not only just lights, but they do really cool little stations. So they have like a Rudolph station where he's talking animatronics, doing all this, telling jokes and having a good time. And really cool this year that I didn't see last year was they had the chainsaw ice sculptor guy there. So he was there every half hour, just carving out something new, something cool. And he was just piling them up. And he said he'd just pile them up all weekend long. So he'd have this huge arena full of ice sculptures by the end of the weekend. And he was just talking to people about how he does it, what he's doing. So that was really neat. That was different. They didn't have that last year. But overall, a good time on that front. And then, of course, while we're just hanging out with the family, kids are playing. If we had nothing to do, I'd go down and play some games, watch some shows. And that leads into the games played, which were 2 games. One was Astrobot. I got into that a little bit. And the reason why I got into that a little bit was because I hit a point where I was playing ReFantasia, which I'll talk about in a minute. Extremely difficult. Got to another point, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So stopped there. I was like, well, maybe I'll go play Space Marines. Started playing that a little bit, but I was like, okay, I'm not in the mood for doing this right now. Turn that off. I'm like, maybe Yakuza. Oh yeah, I'm in the middle of this dungeon. Matt said I should just abort, go do the thing. I can't abort it yet. I can't give up yet. No, I'm not in the mood to do this though. Okay, turn it off. I don't know. What am I going to play? Doki Doki Literature Club? That's on here. Maybe I just go do this again and actually get the trophies this time, because last time I played it on PC or Game Pass, whatever it was. No, I don't want to do that. So I went, you know what? Let's put Astrobot on. Click. Start playing. Oh, it's just a good time, Matt. Just a fun old time. Colorful. Little Astrobot's going beep, beep, boop, 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 boop. Controllers buzzing and bopping and going nuts, doing its thing. Did a few of the levels. I think the stopping point was because I swear I got everything in the level, and I know it shows you, but I got to the end of the level and I'd missed one early on somehow, and I went, well, I don't want to redo the level right now. And up to this point, I think it was like 4 or 5-ish levels in or so. And I went, well, I don't want to redo the level. Let's go to another one. Nah, I need to get them all. So I got to redo the level. Nah, I don't want to redo the level. So I shut it off. So I got a little ways into Astrobot, called it a day, watched anime the rest of the time. So Astrobot, great game, colorful levels, fun finding the cool little robots, and even a few 4 or 5 levels in, they've already started adding in the cool, like, themed robots.
And I was just going to say, I think when you go back in, it has like a little radar thing you can buy. So when you get close to a dude, it'll go whoop, and point off that way. So when you replay it, it's even easier.
Okay.
And you have to spend some currency, but you're not using that for anything really right now anyway.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would want to buy with it anyway, is a way to easily find the damn bots so I can complete the level. So I'll pick that up, and that'll make things 10 times easier. So that way I can, perfect the game, as you should do with the Astrobot game. And of course, you already heard it. I played Metaphor ReFantasio. I got to the end. I've got these 3 dragons, Trial of the Dragons. I talked about it before. Difficult. Makes you play a very specific way. Well, I figured out the way it wants you to play. And I also figured out that because of how powerful I am, I can use the same method for all 3 dragons. So I did just that. Got through all 3 dragons. And then it goes, hey, there's one more boss in this trial. The 4th boss, Eulogy of the Soul. I went, okay. Well, he doesn't play quite like the others. You have to change your tactics a little bit. So did a little research, changed my tactics, beat him. Now I have the best sword in the entire game that you can get. I have, the best armor you can get in the whole game. I went, all right, it's time. When this is the night, I'm going to go beat this game. Here we go. I'm coming, Luis. The day has come. So I go to the place where he is, and it's a big dungeon, full dungeon. I'm like, this is cool. I'm glad it is ending on an actual dungeon, because a lot of stuff up to now has just been kind of boss fights. So, talk, boss fight over, back to whatever. This, nope, old school big dungeon. Going to the dungeon, nothing can touch me. I told you, I'm a psychopath, way over leveled. So I'm smoking through the baddies. I'm figuring out doing little puzzles in the dungeon, doing the stuff, having a great time. I'm loving this. Get to Luis. He's talking, I'm talking, we're going back and forth. I'm like, all right, here we go. Boom, we get into a battle with Luis. Beat up Luis. Well, you should have saw it coming. This ain't the end. It's not it yet. So stuff happens, you go into another spot, and then it's like, well, you can't do that spot right now. You got to finish up the days until it's time. There's reasons why, given why you have to wait till the perfect moment. And so then I went, you know what? It was like our last night there. I went, I don't want to end this on a regular old screen in the basement, 11:30, 11:40 at night. Nah, I want to end this on my big screen, fresh as a cucumber, bright and vibrant, not tired and whatnot. So I didn't finish it. I went, I'm going to go home and get this done. Well, I got home. There was no time to get it done, though. I've been busy every day this week. Haven't sat down or stopped for a moment. That includes right now, because as you hear, we are recording the show. So I've had 0 days with 0 hours to do anything I wanted to do. So it sucks. I was hoping to come on this show today and say I squared that one away and put it in the old past, but wasn't meant to be. this time. Next time, for sure, though, this weekend I'm going to beat it. And I will say this, man. Post the few times early on with the goofy antics, there have been no goofy antics the rest of the game. So it mellowed out. I think early on while they were getting to know each other, they're trying to make them, real likable maybe. I don't know. And that's why maybe they did some goofy stuff early on. But they have been nothing but dead serious for at least the last 35, 40 hours I can remember. So it does mellow out and they become just mission oriented and, hit the fan. We got to do the thing. We can't screw around anymore. So that's definitely a plus side for those that are like Matt, who are like, man, what are these goofballs doing? This makes no sense. I can tell you that stuff mellows out and it gets really serious as you go on and progress further and further into the story. So a great time to be had for sure. And I'll talk more about it when I beat it and just kind of give a lot more overall thoughts. But for now, I'll leave it at that. It was a great weekend. It's not been a greatest work week, but I don't care. It's neither here nor there. And here we are today, Matt, having a good show, having a blast.
Speaking of having a blast, it's time to have an Anton Blast. That's the release this week. A game called Anton Blast, which dropped yesterday as we're recording this on the 3rd of December. Developed and published by Summit Sphere. This dropped for PC and Nintendo Switch. And Summit Sphere are the guys who did Pizza Tower. And if you didn't know that, just from me telling you that right now and knowing who Summit Sphere is, you would know that if you see Anton Blast in action at all. It looks like Pizza Tower, but a little bit slower, a little bit heavier, a little bit more like blowing stuff up all over the place instead of running and gunning and slipping and sliding and dodging and dipping and diving. But it does have that same kind of wild 90s cartoon theme and feel to it. Like when you see Anton, he's this big, angry, red-skinned dude with a big old bushy black beard and big old bushy hair. And when you see him like plowing through the levels, he looks like people are comparing the gameplay to Wario Land, and it is kind of that. Wario's a big character, but the way that Anton moves, it looks like a Sega Genesis platformer, kind of like Booger Man or something, like a big expressive character bashing his way through levels. And if you need to know the story, it's a super serious and dark and brooding story, because when this game starts, Satan is looking at his magic mirror and he's saying, "Who's the reddest guy around here?" And his magic mirror says, "Well, it's actually not you. It's this guy Anton. He's got red skin." And Satan goes, "Damn it. I'm so mad about that. All you demons and devils, go steal his favorite thing and make him mad, because I want to be the reddest person on the planet." And so the devils and demons break in and they steal all your booze. And so now, Anton, you're a really mad guy and you got to just go trash everything and get back at the devil. I told you, super serious and dark and brooding. And so you just go on this wild, fantastic adventure. It's a side-scrolling action platformer. Like I said, people are comparing it a lot to Wario because you're this big, heavy character who's just wrecking stuff. You kind of have like momentum-based gameplay. You have some dashes. You got like a big old hammer that you can do like a big old ground slam and it bounces you up in the air. And you're just wrecking stuff. There's all kinds of stuff to blow up and smash, and you're getting poker chips, which are your currency, where in the hub world you can go and get yourself upgrades. You're getting all kinds of different skins, different cassette players to play different music. It's just I don't want to say old school action platformer, but it is that, like, if you watch it, you think of a Sega Genesis action platformer running and just blowing up boxes and all the collectibles are everywhere. One of the cool gimmicks of this game is it's like double layered. Think of like Fatal Fury or like the Virtual Boy Wario games, and I think maybe the Mario game was too, where there's certain spots where you can jump into the background, which you can see as you're playing. You're obviously playing in the foreground, and you jump, and you get all small in the background and run around and collect stuff and blow stuff up, and then you come back out into the foreground. It's pretty cool. You can play as Anton, and then you can play as, I think her name is like Annie Dynamite, and what I thought I've seen is like Donkey Kong Country-esque gameplay, where Anton got hit with a thing, and then Annie swapped in. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw that. Other than that, just watch some gameplay of this. You'll know if it's for you or not. It's big, it's flashy, it's loud. I've seen some cool things. I think Pizza Tower did this too, where you'd run all the way through the level and then set off a bomb or something, and you have to run all the way back. I've seen some running to the left levels, which are really stylish. Like the whole background is red and you're totally in shadow trying to do your action platforming and booming and banging. It looks really cool. I've heard the music's really good too. If you're in the mood for like a 90s loud cartoon type of a time, or you like those Wario style games, but faster and louder and bigger and banging, and you're a really big mad dude who just wants to get his booze back because Satan stole his booze. Check out ANTONBLAST. It looks like a blast. Haha.
Now, you want to stick to games that have that blast from the past kind of feel into it? Yeah, I got another one for you, all right? FANTASIAN Neo Dimension. Matt was interested in this one. I was mildly interested in this one. Well, it has come to pass. It is now out December 5th for all your systems. It was already out for your, I think only for your Apple about 2 years ago, but now it's out and it's got some, added stuff to it. You can actually change the music to be like all different kind of Final Fantasy tracks. They've upgraded graphics here and there. They've done this and improved that. They added voice acting for the English and for Japanese. So if any of those two float your boat, you now have full voice acting for both of those. And of course, this is made by Mistwalker Corporation, which is the founder, the godfather of Final Fantasy. I'm going to screw his name up. Hironobu Sakaguchi. Yes, there it is. Yeah. He is the one behind this studio, and he is the one who made this. And funny enough, I guess he was motivated to make this because he was actually replaying Final Fantasy VI and remembered that he really loved that just old school grand adventure and thought he would do another one for the books. And so here we are with this very old school RPG, turn-based, all the goodies that you can expect from, an old school RPG is at your fingertips. Your main character, he's got amnesia. He doesn't remember who he is. He's thrown into the machine world. There's also a human world, but actually something really bad's going down there, and it's all going to go bye-bye. The machine world is going to be what fixes the human side of things, apparently, hopefully, maybe. We don't know because we got amnesia. But along the way, you meet a mage friend, you meet a princess, you meet a roguelike guy. All your typical Final Fantasy type tropes you're going to meet, and you're going to get to, of course, level them up and advance their skill sets to become better on the battlefield for you. As I already told you, you're going to go through a lot of turn-based fights. However, there's a really cool mechanism and or thing that goes on here. So yes, there'll be random fights, which a lot of people go boo, 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 but I don't mind. But here's the deal. You can go ahead and bypass those fights and put them in this, I can't remember, the machine grimoire type thing. And it holds them in this transdimensional area. So then you just keep going and exploring and finding your treasure chest and getting to where you need to go. And then you can then jump into this neo-dimensional transmogrified room and fight all of them at once.
Nice.
And I think what it is at first it's like 35 is your cap, but later on you'll get an upgrade to 50. So you can just accrue 50 bad guys, 35 early on, 50 later, if you don't want to fight them right then and there. And then at the end, just go, okay, we'll fight. And then just pummel them with your skills, doing all the stuff. However, obviously, but I'll say it anyway, if you're encountering new enemies, it won't allow you to do it. It can only be done with enemies that you've already encountered. And then secondly, it's not recommended if you go into a brand new place to immediately start doing it because you don't understand how powerful and what mechanics work with what baddies. So you might end up killing yourself because you have to get rid of these baddies. However, there is another way to do it. If you don't want to battle them, I believe, I'm like 99.9% sure, you can just go ahead and find a receptacle that takes these baddies and then dumps them out basically. And then you keep traveling. So you can kind of bypass battling altogether if you really want to in some instances and cases. So it's a pretty cool mechanic. I think it really helps with traversal, getting you around these different dungeons and places you're going to be, but also allows you to get to the meat and taters and have fun, but still save them because you want the experience from them and just dump everything you got them at once. So say you got like ice all, or whatever. Well, when they're all 35 in there and you just go, brah, and you're smoking them, that's pretty cool. Plus, you get benefits in there. I didn't go into super detail on it, but there are some perks to fighting them inside there. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So a really cool mechanic that I've never seen or heard of before in any sort of RPG. Maybe it's been there, but I don't know. I don't recall ever hearing about something that did the same thing. So I thought that was really, really cool, and I didn't know anything about it until I was watching some reviews and checking things out.
I'm a little sad because I didn't think this is what you were talking about. When I saw that on the show notes here, I thought it was one of those, I don't know the first word of it, but it's like fantasy dimension, Neptunia, those games where it's like collect all the anime girls. And I was like, oh, one of those came out. It'll be a fun anime game Eric can talk about. No, it's Fantasian. Yes. It was the game that I wanted to play.
The one you wanted to play.
And it's that
out.
system sounds so awesome because we all do it as RPG players. You want to get your side quest done, you want to get the battles out of the way. But there's sometimes when you just want to do some battling. So you can get the best of both worlds in here because I just want to go get the sword out of the chest that wasn't there before, picked up side quest. Oop, collect everybody. And then when you're done, I'll just go in and kill everything. God, it sounds so cool. It sounds so great. It's got to go on the wish list. It's got to go on the somethings.
Yeah, it was looking really cool to me. And then the battle system, like I said, is turn-based. And then you got all your standard RPG tropes. But what's really cool, and it's been in a million other games, but we've talked about it a million other times, I love it's got who's coming up next, and then the next, and the next, and the next. And a nice little corner there. So you can see everybody as their turn's approaching, so you can start to strategize what you want to use and what you want to do. I've always really liked that visual mechanic, so I'm glad to see it in this game. It's got that 3D kind of look to the whole game, and it's really strange. It's gorgeous, but also strange because it looks like they handcrafted the environment, but then they like took it was expressed in a review, like a picture of it, and then like AI or something did what it needs to do to it to turn it into an environment you can use. So I don't know. It's real hard to explain. You really got to go check it out, like what the visuals look like, because in some spots it seems kind of like weird. Like it's, like low res, but in other spots, very, very, very detailed, very, very beautiful. So strange, but ultimately looking really solid. And what's weird about this game, and I still want to play it regardless, but I went through 3 reviews and they kind of all liked the game, but they definitely it was very varied on the story and the battle mechanics. One of them was like, nah, I got real bored. I got bored of the battling. One was like, no, I loved it all the way through. One said the story was just super bland and the writing was meh at very best. One said they enjoyed the story so much and it was really moving and they had such a great time with it. So it's hard to kind of come off where to be on this one. With the battling, I'm going to go ahead and say probably if you just don't like turn-based, old school turn-based, this is probably not going to be your jam. But as for the story, every story I think is just everyone's got an opinion. So you kind of got to go into your own. But overall, this looks solid and it sounds solid and it should because, of course, Nobuo
Uematsu.
There you go. The original composer of Final Fantasy music, and he's been doing Final Fantasy music forever. He did the music for this as well. So you're getting awesome music. You're getting classic Final Fantasy writing and gameplay. You're getting this new story that, well, it's new to us on consoles and stuff, because like I said, it's already been on the Apple Arcade, but it's there for you. Go check it out. Take a peek. You ain't got to believe me. Go watch some reviews, see what you think for yourself, but it's out, and I'm definitely interested in playing it.
You almost hit the line, but don't take my word for it. You almost did it.
I know.
You almost could read a rainbow. But if you can't have either of those games we just talked about, if you can't have any of the good times we were talking about with our weeks, you can at least go and get some free games. Because on Steam, a game you should have owned on every computer you've had for the last 24 years, Peggle Extreme is for free on Steam right now. That's that shoot a little ball bearing, and it's kind of pachinko-like, but you eliminate the pegs. And it's just fun. It's just a goof game. Why not get it for free and play it whenever? On Game Pass, okay, I got beef. I got beef with everybody who lists out their Game Pass games. I went on Google and I typed in Game Pass games for December 2024. And every single one I had gave me 12 games that dropped this week. And I went, there's no way. That's not possible. So I went to my Xbox app here on my PC, and none of the games were listed. And I went, what's going on? And I went through 4 sites, and the 4th one finally said, oh, this one that's been on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for 6 months, it's now coming to Core. It's now coming to Standard. So that's what all those were. So to the best of my knowledge, the actual new things coming to Game Pass, and maybe it's just Ultimate because I'm an Ultimate guy, there's Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. So if you like character kart racing, if you love those, get that. If you like real world rally racing, I believe EA Sports WRC is out for you. It shows like a rally car. What else could it be? And if you don't like any of that stuff and you like being a character, doing some action RPGing, check out a game called Overthrown, which I think I saw Iron Pineapple do in one of his Steam dumpster diving things. But that's a game where it's kind of Fortnite style. You build a town and things, but you can pick up everything. So what he showed in that game was he built a lumber mill. And so he's like picking up whole trees and throwing them across the land to the lumber mill. He's like, this is cool. But wait a minute. What if I just pick up the mill and I run it over to the trees? Is this going to work? Oh, crap, it works. So like all these things that require you to combine stuff, you can literally just pick up the stuff and just take it to it. It's wild. It's crazy. It looks nutty. It's cartoony. It looks fun. But there's a bunch of stuff. Steam and Game Pass, go get it.
Man, oh man. Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled. I want to play it so bad. I'm in a kart mood, and that is supposedly like just as good as Mario Kart, almost pretty much. Some claim it's better, but at least it's good. So, man, that's a tempting one. I probably actually own it because I feel like I do. I feel like I've got it somewhere somehow. But you know what? Speaking of driving, I got one over on Epic. Epic is not disappointing. And you know what, folks? Maybe you didn't know, maybe you do know. Bus Simulator 21 Next Stop is out for you right now. And I don't even need that because, once again, I used to drive buses in real life. You know what, Steve, if you're listening, don't play this game and come tell me how much you love it. Because then if you say that, I want you to go drive buses in real life and tell me how much you love it, all right? And I'm telling you right now, don't come at me with this one. Because I swear to God, I will find a way to make you work for some kind of bus station or bus route or something. And not no little E-Trans small size bus. No. You'll be in a full size bus. You ain't tricking me.
You can drive the articulated buses they have around campus.
Yeah, we don't get those cool articulated buses yet. No, it's old Stiffy. You're driving the old Stiffy. All right? That's what I'm going to make you.
There's the episode title right there is Old Stiffy.
And I'll tell you, you can practice, though. You can go practice right now for free on Epic with Bus Simulator 21 Next Stop. And if that's not your jam, another one over there, you got Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. I've heard pretty decent things about this one. I've heard it's a lot of fun, hoot and handy. It's got all your typical fun antics and goofiness that you could ask for in the Star Wars Lego world. I'm not going to play it, but you know what? You can if you want to. And that's not all, everybody. If you want to go over to Amazon Free Games and check out some stuff, they've got games for you. Another Star Wars game, Bounty Hunter, is available. I feel like we talked about this not too long ago when they re-released Bounty Hunter, I think it was. Yes, and now you just go get it. I don't know if this is the new like remastered one or if it's the OG, but hey, go check it out for yourself because I don't know. Dredge is another title you can pick up right now. That's a fantastic game we've talked about in the past. You all should know what it's about. You're in a boat having a great old time. Tomb Raider, Underworld. I don't even know at this point, man. I don't know what Tomb Raider is. I don't know what one's what. I don't know. It's Tomb Raider, and you can go play it.
I know this is one of those modern ones, but not like the new rebooted ones. I think this is one of the ones like just before that all happened. I don't know, but I think all those in the middle Tomb Raider games are all pretty good.
Okay.
Like this was like an Xbox 360 era Tomb Raider, I think.
Okay. Well, you got that. Then you got Overcooked 2, Matt. So go ahead and play that game you hate to play with your family because it just makes you hate each other and fight and everything. Well, here's the second part of that. From what I hear, just as good as the original. So check it out. And another one that I'm just tired of talking about because I hear about it constantly is Call of Juarez Gunslinger. I don't even know if it's the one we've talked about before. If it is a million times, I don't know. I just feel like we see this one every other month. So it's there for you now on Amazon Prime free games. Go pick it up. That's not it. You got Quake 2. And Quake 2 is amazing, folks. Go get it. Go have a great time shooting your friends, laughing, and just flying around super fast paced. And last but not least, Disney's Pixar WALL-E. I have no idea if this thing's good. WALL-E, the movie was pretty fun. I can't see what kind of game you're going to play here except for maybe hide WALL-E and move around and avoid robots. That's probably what I'm guessing you're going to be doing.
Now, you got hot at some of these free games here because another damn Tomb Raider game and Call of Juarez, which you talked about a million times. I got hot too because if you remember the previous episode, I did a special bit. When it was Amazon free games, we did a new bit called Hopa Alert. I found a horn. I was excited to do the Hopa Alert. There's not a goddamn Hopa in here. But I also got double mad because I went back to last week because we missed a week because it was Thanksgiving week and I went and looked at the list of games. There was clearly a Hopa last week, but we didn't talk about it because we didn't do the free games last week. There better be a Hopa next week. Otherwise, I'm going to lose it. It's over. I'll burn the show down. That's what I'm going to have to do.
I'll tell you this too, real quick. There's another game that was released on Amazon, I believe, and I already picked it up. That was last week. That a streamer I do watch, Wooly plays or whatever. I can't remember what it's on. Wooly something. Anyway, it's two dudes and they play video games and they play together. Yeah, they are awesome. First
Black
off.
dude with, like,
two
big-
black
big,
dudes
long
playing the
dreads.
video games. Yes.
He's the one who does the challenge podcast with like an Irish dude.
Oh, okay.
So I know exactly who you're talking
Yes.
about. Anyway,
Awesome dudes. They play games, they laugh and talk and commentate, throughout the whole thing. They played some samurai game, and I can't remember, Showdown or something like that, game that was released on Amazon for free last week, and it's amazing. It's right up Matt's alley. You got to like strategically pick your turn, and then it's like, okay, this turn it'll take 2 turns to do this. This turn takes 1 turn, 2 turns, and then with the different ninjas and assassins on the board with their different abilities, that takes the different turns and different things, and you got to counter it with your abilities, and you can be like all these different classes that have different like elite abilities and normal abilities, and it's too much to explain and go on about, but it looked awesome. I watched them play it for hours. What a cool damn game that was. Even got me interested, which those aren't typically my jam, but I do enjoy the puzzle portion of that. That's a lot of fun. So yes, go do some homework. Go figure out what the hell I'm talking about, because you'll probably really like it.
and then speaking of cool stuff that you got to go watch, award season is upon us. The Devolver Delayed Awards were here over the past week. Man, it's a long show. I'm going to break down all the stuff. Actually, the show is like 5 minutes. But again, anytime we talk about Devolver Digital or anything they do, I always say I'm so glad we live in a world where there's a company like this who presents stuff in this Devolver Digital way. Because all this is just a listing of some games that are getting pushed to 2025. But it's done in an award show style. And obviously I'm ruining the bit, but they'll be like, oh, the nominees for this category are, and then there's like 3 fake games that they made up a whole ass logo for. And some of them reference old games that they have done. And it almost looks like maybe that is the sequel to this game, but oh no, it was the game you know of that got delayed. It's just fun. I watched it right before we got on here, and I just smiled. I went, man, what a great company. What a great little thing. They didn't even have to do anything. They could have done like the black screen, white text Twitter alert and just like, baby steps has been delayed to 2025. But instead they made it fun. I love you, Devolver. You're the greatest. You're my favorite company. What can I say?
I indeed enjoyed it as well. I watched it and had a good time with it. The eulogy or whatever for the games that came out was a good time.
That was great. Yeah.
That was fun. So like you said, they didn't have to do any of this. So it was just neat to see it. And it's kind of funny because I didn't necessarily know all these games. So it was fun watching them put up the titles. And then I'm like, that don't sound right. And then when the right one hit, I went, yeah, right, there it is. That's the one. Now I know. But it was just cool going, am I going to be like the idiot in this one and go, well, I don't know which one's real. So yeah, it's fun. Definitely check that one out. Now, speaking of quickies and hitties here, PlayStation's having its 30th anniversary, Matt.
Yes.
In case you didn't know. And they just did a really cool thing. They went ahead and gave us some themes on your PlayStation 5. That's awesome. You can go put up the old classic PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4, or of course stick with PS5 original or now the Pro standards. And they've also got little like icon and like the music tone-ins and stuff for the different systems throughout the years. Really cool. Very happy that they threw that in there. They say it's for a limited time only, but there's already petitions everywhere going, no, keep it forever, you morons. Don't ever take it away. So I have a feeling at the end of the day, they'll probably end up just leaving it because why not? Why not, man?
Or at least, I would pay $5 to have them all around forever.
Yeah.
If you are just going to take it away for free, fine, but give me the option to give you $5. And I will say the one thing is I put on the base PlayStation 1, but the console art cuts off the top of the splash screens on the PS5. I switched it to PS2 and it looks better. But I will say, this was a cool idea. Like I'd heard of it beforehand and I went, oh, that'll be neat. But then when it said, hey, you have an update, restart your PS5, and I did, and it went beep, and then that old school PlayStation hit, and then the next level of it, I got chills all up and down my spine. I was like, this is the greatest thing. And it sounds small and dumb, and it is, because it's like a 5-second thing. But if you were around for those days, this was the greatest thing. Like I was transported across town to the place where I used to live, hearing that all the time. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight, was the intros you get. Oh, man, so very cool. I can't wait to just reboot and do all of them just so I can do the 3, because I did 2 as well. And so, redo 1, 3, and then 4, and so on and so forth. It's going to be a great time. So, very cool, PlayStation. Thanks for doing that. And, of course, hey, go do your homework, everybody. Xbox has already announced they're going to do a handheld, but it's not coming anytime soon.
Mhm.
Now, all the leaks and everything else is happening that it is, well, it's not confirmed by PlayStation, but it's confirmed by several sources all going, PlayStation is also doing a handheld, not just the Portal, but a true handheld, but it ain't nowhere near being ready or finished. So just forget about it for the next few years, and we'll see what happens. This is it, Matt. Handheld, the Switch did it, and the Steam Deck kind of pushed it to, I think, the very end. But between those two, the world is moving to a handheld / games, normal gaming world. This is it. This is what's happening.
If my microphone wasn't right in front of me, I would be eagerly rubbing my hands through that whole thing you were just saying, because I forgot about it because one other podcast I listened to mentioned it, but it was like half a week ago or a week and a half ago by now. But man, I was so hyped that Xbox is doing one, PlayStation's doing one, even if it's just like PS4 level stuff, to just take it, boom, on the go with you, play it at work. Oh man, I got to put some time in on Game Pass. Well, I'm going to download it to my Xbox handheld, and that's what I'm playing at work on lunches. That's great. That's awesome. Taking any of this anywhere. I mean, like we said, Portal's great, and it's really cool. And you can stream your Xbox to your Steam Deck via some workarounds and higgledy-piggledies.
But you have to have, of course, the big edition that costs $176 a year or whatever. Not the cheap version.
But to just take it on the go, oh, I'm sitting in a dentist's office where I can't do the Wi-Fi, or I'm sitting just in the parking lot waiting for my kids to get out of dance class.
Can't use it.
I can just play my game right there.
Oh,
awesome. Great.
That day when it comes, man, I'm telling you, that's going to be heaven on earth. When no matter where I go, I can play docked or I can play portable on the coolest, newest stuff. Because don't get me wrong, Switch is great, but it's limited.
Yeah.
Whereas, of course, PlayStation and Xbox, and they're going to push for the stars. And then I also hope for Nintendo, I hope that them knowing that this is happening is going to make sure that they're pushing too with their system, because they're back in the race. They may not want to be, but they're back in it. Everyone's kind of coming at them and he's going, no, we're getting in on this too. You're not going to be the portable one and sell bajillions and overshadow us like you did this time. We're not letting it happen. So hopefully they're like, all right, we'll release the one we're already making because it's too late to change too much on that because that's coming out 2025. But they'll probably make a pro version, I'll bet, to compete with Xbox and PlayStation in the future. But that's years away.
And like you said, Steam Deck has already released its second iteration, which is the OLED, which has bigger storage, better performance, and everybody loves it. I think ROG Ally is on its second iteration now, too. I mean, it's just great. Like, I don't use my Steam Deck nearly as much as I should, but when I was, it was awesome because I was taking Xbox 360 style games on the go and then brand new stuff scaled down a little bit wherever I wanted. Just play it at work. Who cares? It's just great. I love that this is something that's going to be coming right now.
Yeah, can't wait for that, but it's a long ways away. You know what's not a long ways away, Matt? The frickin' Video Game Awards show. It's coming up next Thursday, so it gets to be the awkward usual record on a Wednesday and then do the thing, but you won't be able to hear anything we would say about the show because we're going to record it before the show, and then this week, thing and the thing and the thing. So what I want to do before we call today is one or two tops, predictions. The fun stuff, Matt, the surprises, the world's first looks, those. What have you got? Do you think, what are you going for? Do you want to go with your heart? Go with something realistic? What big surprise are we getting at the Game Awards this year? Think about it, Matt. You know what? Think about it. What could it be? Because I'll tell you one, Blue Point. We got to be hearing from them, right? Right?
Gotta be. Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's been, 5 years? 4 years? 5 years? They've been working on an original IP for forever. I mean, you got to show something. You got to say something eventually. Got to. So, I don't know. I feel like maybe this is the year we finally get a trailer for whatever original cool IP they're working on. Because I think they just reiterated a little bit ago that this is an original IP and they're not like redoing something. So, I don't know what it is. I'm excited because they do have good chops there, but it could be something I completely don't care about. Either way, I'm interested, and I think we're going to see it at this Game Awards.
So I'll give you one of my pie in the skies, because when you said it to me, you got to go because I'm totally blanking. I can't think of anything right now. But when you were talking, I want to see a Max Payne 1 and 2 remake trailer. I want to see that. A teaser, a something. Obviously, we know it's in production, but it's not really anytime close. But I want to see that old school Max Payne, especially 2, because 2's closest to my heart. But I want to see that. And maybe it'll be like Metal Gear Solid Delta, where I'll be like kind of freaked out because that's not what my Max Payne looks like. But I want to see that. That's a surprise that I want to see. I want to see Sam Lake up there and he'll go, "Hey, I'm doing a wiggly dance as I announce something else." And then the nominee will come up and they'll win their award and they'll go away and he'll go, "Hey, but also check this out." And we'll see some Max Payne. And we'll see Max Payne's new face. That's what I want to see.
We might. I think it's farther along than you think. I could have swore Sam Lake just talked about it like a couple weeks ago and said they're well on the way. Everything's looking great, but they want to make sure this game is perfect and da. So it might be their 2025 game, maybe late 2025, but
yeah,
I think that's possible to see. I hope we see it. And I know there's a good relationship, obviously, between Jeff and him. So very well could be the case. And one I think might show up, I hesitate on this one, but I feel like it's been brewing and they just haven't really said it. I think Capcom's going to be doing an Onimusha.
Nice.
I think we're going to be seeing an Onimusha. I feel like it's that time. I've gotten several of those surveys talking about it. So I feel like it's just been in the air for a while. Guest stating they did that whole release of the old school one. I don't know if it did well or not, but I don't know. Maybe Capcom's going to do Onimusha. The only thing that makes me hesitate is that they're real focused on Monster Hunter Wilds right now. But that doesn't mean anything. Capcom's got a lot of stuff on their plate. They could release anything at any time. And Monster Hunter ain't even in the same wheelhouse as Onimusha. So the only thing that could kind of throw that off is if they want to focus on the next Resident Evil. So that could also be something shown. Who knows? But I'm going to say Onimusha just for the funs of it.
And that's all I was going to say was, I mean, Wilds is great and it's big and it's a big moneymaker for them, but it's a totally different team and everybody and a different feel and a different audience from a Resident Evil or anything in the horror-ish landscape like Onimusha is. And my last one, it's an obvious one. Like I guarantee it will happen, but I'm excited for it to happen because it's been too long. I want to know the release date of Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Hideo Kojima will be there. We know that.
Yes.
I love him, so I'm glad to know that. But I want to see that. Obviously, he showed off OD and like hinted at his thing where he was working with Peele. Is it Key or Peele? It's Peele, right? Jordan Peele.
Yeah, Jordan Peele.
Yeah, they hinted at that last time. And sure, I want to see future projects, but I want to know when this is coming out so I can set aside that block of that month or those couple months to know that that is the world that I'm diving into. I want to know when it is. I want to see more about it. I want to see like weird hints so I don't really know what's going on so I can still go in kind of all weirded out and wiggly-biggledy, but I want to know when. And I'm sure I will, but that's the one thing that I'm looking for out of the Game Awards.
Yeah, I love the Death Stranding commercials and the trailers and the hype. Never got into the game itself, so I wouldn't be disappointed to see another trailer, something really cool and fun. But I, more than that, want to see the Overdose. This is supposed to be their PT. This is supposed to be their horror game, and that's my jam. That's what I want to see. And he hasn't shown pretty much anything on that one yet. Just talk, and a little logo or something. I can't remember what it was.
That was that Screamy trailer with the characters
that's
with
right,
the mouths and stuff.
Yeah, with the mouths. That's what it was. And it got me stoked, but it showed you absolutely nothing, though.
Yeah.
So very much hoping to see that. But I'll take anything. Kojima, like you said, he's just fun, and it's a fun time when he gets up there. But that's a given, and we know it's going to happen. Oh, and of course, the last one for me, Matt, the Dream. Oh, let me know. I'm just kidding. It ain't going to happen. I know. So I'm sorry.
I already bleeped it out.
Yep.
So nobody it's not allowed on the show.
They'll never know.
You know that.
They'll never know. I don't know. Beyond that, beyond the Blue Point and the others, there's nothing I can think of that would like really go, oh my God, Square, I don't think it's going to talk about much. Because I think they're taking their time with the next Final Fantasy. They said they're going to be focusing on the blockbusters that make them the money and not be doing a million different small things at once. So I'm kind of going in blind, I think, this year, really, because I just don't know.
I think the only other thing that would make me mark out, it's already been spoiled because I think it happened today. I was sitting here and I saw the release date for the 100-line Last Hope Academy, that Danganronpa style, like defend the school against
I remember that.
all the monsters and stuff. So the release date like dropped and they showed off the collector's edition and everything. Like, man, if you would just held that off for like a week and a half, like a little week and an extra day, I could have been like screaming at the top of my lungs and punching my fists, but they already did that, and I'm blanking on like anything else. There will always be something cool that happens that none of us are expecting, but I don't know.
And From Software, I know they openly stated they're not doing Elden Ring 2 currently or intend to be doing it anytime soon, but they are working on a couple projects. So maybe one of those 2 projects they're currently working on could be shown. But other than that, yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, whatever, man. Just throw some stuff at me. What's Sony up to? Will they show anything? Probably. I assume so, right? I mean, we haven't heard too much on quite a few of their, studios.
I mean, you mentioned FromSoft, you mentioned Sony. If we want to get in with all the other podcasters, we got to be the guys to say the exact same thing that everyone else has been saying. How about Bloodborne Remake? How about a Bloodborne Remake, guys? How about Hollow Knight Silk Song?
This is the time.
That's what I'm going to say. It's the time.
No,
it's time.
I'm
yeah.
not doing it. It's
Come
not
on,
time.
Eric. Come
it's
on.
not coming. No, not coming. I think they'll show a new title like or original IP if they did anything. I don't think it'll be a sequel to anything. So yeah, I don't know. What's your takes out there, everybody? You got some spicy, fun stuff for us, or have we just been having our heads in the sand? Have we been missing out on a lot of hints and stuff? Because I'll tell you, it's very possible. I've been really busy, as I told you lately. Haven't had much time to really dig in and get in there and see what everybody's been talking about. So yeah, maybe I'm missing it. You got to tell me this time.
Yeah, maybe I'm missing it too, because I'm getting off Twitter just because I don't have any fun on it, and that's the only place that I see hints and twingles and dealy bops. So let us know that. Let us know what you're excited for, what you think's going to happen, what we're missing out on, and let us know the answer to Uncle Matt's Trivia Corner. Because if you remember, last week's question was, in which year was popular game Snake first made available on Nokia phones, specifically on the Nokia 6110? That was 1998. And the question for this week, it's an equally tough question. If you don't get this one, oh boy, and no one could get this one. Originally named Jumpman, in which 1981 game did Mario first appear? You got it. Hey, I'm getting your points ready right now. I should have had it ready because I knew you'd get it. Hey-o. Oh, you are back in second place. Look at you, Eric.
All right, I'm working my way back, taking it.
Now, we only have like 3 regular correspondents, so it's a tight race no matter what.
Just like them old school games. That's how we do it.
That's right. So if you know the answer to that question, or if you remember things that you didn't answer before on other questions, or if you got questions, comments, concerns, feedback at all, if you want to say hi, if you want to send us a mailbag question, do that via the email thirdshiftme@gmail.com, on the Twitter machine at ThirdShiftMe, find us on Facebook on Third Shift, hit the Discord, the Patreon, hit up a stream if I'm streaming, hit up Eric's house. Don't come to my house. Leave me alone. Go to Eric's house, scare his wife and kids, make him like drive home all in a rush, and then she'll go, actually, whoever it was left, but they left a note saying we love Third Shift, and you'll get mad, and you'll be like, I had to take flex time for this, and it'll be a bad day, but make Eric's day bad, not mine. Don't do it to me.
Lose lunch times, you can't have it, and that's all a bad scenario. Don't do that. Don't do those things. You can, though, make us happy in other ways, like going over to Patreon, throwing some cash our way, $1, $2, $3, any kind of bucks. It's a tip jar, like what we're doing. Consider throwing something in there. Very, very cool. Helps us keep the lights on and everything happening. If you can't, though, you know what? There's a lot of other ways to help us out. Go into Discord and come have some conversations. I was really hoping to see someone slap the stupidest person in their family with a goddamn giant turkey leg, but I did not see it. So therefore, I get to preach all I want. All I want. I decided I'm just gonna ruin your freaking Christmas. I'm gonna do it. I can't wait. Yeah, it's going to be some fun this month, I think. So, yeah, you know what? Maybe go over on them iTunes and give us some 5-star ratings because we need them. We deserve them. And I want you to be happy. If I'm happy, you're happy. That's the way life goes. I promise you that. You're going to look in those perfect Christmas presents. And I swear to God, what's in the box, Matt? What's in the box? You know that? Going to be a lot of things in those boxes. A lot of things. A lot of family pieces. A lot of things. I don't know. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. I just recommend you do some of those things and support us before it's too late.
And the deadline for doing some of those things before the next episode, which will be December 11th on iTunes and Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And as I always say, hey, if you like what we're doing, like to help us out, please give us a like, a rating, review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services, because it does help us out, and we really do appreciate it.
Indeed we do. Man, we appreciate it. We really appreciate those 5 stars. I'm telling you. Get them to us. We might even have one. Maybe there's one sitting in there right now. We wouldn't know because Matt didn't check, but we'll know next week for sure if there's a new one in there or not. Because the beast
keep going,
is coming.
keep going. I'm stretching, stretching out. Let's go.
We're gonna stretch that time out. Listen,
I got nothing.
Nothing. Oh man, God. Disappointed fools. Disappointed.
Well, so I'm disappointed too. So thanks for ruining the show, everybody. With that, there's nothing else to say, but
don't forget to save.
Don't
forget to save.
Shut up and sit down.
That's what they get.
That's right.
What you get.